you also take classics. Bryan Adams. I remember watching him in Maine, of all places, and the stage had all of his guitars and all the essence of the music. You choose to be daring. How do you pull that off?
Wow, Bryan Adams. Wow, you have done some homework there, huh? Wow, I have to
Indeed.
absolutely A plus.
And now the host of Entertainment Now, Gail Scott-Key.
Back to Gail Scott-Key's Entertainment Now. That was fun. You got to see and meet my co-host and have a little meet and greet. And so I hope that you are going to tune in, join us on YouTube. And of course, now we are into the next half hour of our show. And we are super excited about our guest who is here joining us right now. Africa Rising is a fifth release from the noted smooth jazz sax leader Andre Ward on the Gallery Entertainment Orpheus Entertainment label. The Chicago native brings together remakes and originals with a new single release and remake, Sade's Kiss of Life. This is amazing. He's appearing courtesy of our dear friends over at Double Exposure PR Media, and we welcome Andre Ward. Andre, thank you so much for joining us this evening. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you very much for having me and allowing me to be on this platform. I really appreciate it.
It is our pleasure. It is our pleasure. And I also understand you hail from Chicago, but those winds blew you right on over to Berkeley in Boston. And you know why I say that? Because a good friend of ours who is an artist with the New Power Generation, Prince's former band, Les Cleveland, who's a good friend of ours, is also from that alum. So, what a big switch, huh?
Yes, Chicago is definitely home and a foundation. Yes, the Windy City will let you know that it's there. But I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity to receive a scholarship to Berklee College of Music, brought me to Boston. And yes, Wes and I are great friends. We play together, fabulous musician as well.
Wonderful. See, didn't even know that little tidbit right there.
So is it like a small, like tight-knit group where all of these expert musicians kind of know each other because you're all so accomplished at your craft?
I think it's a fairly small group, but I think the one thing that we try to do is really lean on each other's talents. Everyone has something to bring to the ingredients that I always say when you're creating music. And so it's really trying to find that right ingredient, that right sound for a particular track or song. And so, although a small group, we do reach out to each other to try to make sure that we can bring the right elements.
Tell us a little bit about the background of where you started to get into the music. You were a drummer first, right?
Yeah, so Chicago, again, is my home. And I was very fortunate during that time. There was a thriving arts program, which is so important in our school systems. And I had the opportunity to partake in the after-school arts program where we got a chance to try different instruments. And I started with the snare drums, which was very good. You can play a note and make a sound immediately, although most parents may not enjoy that. I had the opportunity to then switch to the trumpet, but then it was when I picked up the alto sax. I just kind of felt that connection, and from there, I guess it just kind of glued to me, and I really got engaged and excited to kind of learn more about the instrument, which I'm still learning today. Learning never stops.
That's incredibly humble to say that, Andre, especially with your accomplishments. And it hits home for me because I've got 3 sons, and one of them has chosen to play the saxophone.
All right.
My oldest, and I'm like, so he's gonna get to see this and get super excited. So I really love it. And I wonder sometimes when somebody's so accomplished, you know, do you have a favorite saxophonist that maybe inspired you? And the other part of the question that I asked is, I saw contemporary, but then I also saw jazz. What genre would you most describe yourself under?
Well, first, you know, I again, you know, very blessed and humbled to even be in the position I'm in. I really try to categorize my music as feel-good music. And the reason is that the music is a universal language. Music should have an emotional connection. And, you know, to the listeners and audience, you should be able to feel the music. And so, you know, yes, jazz musician or R&B, I really just try to make good music that people can feel and it can touch them emotionally. As far as, you know, favorite sax players, you know, I think we all learn from each other. I think what makes us different is your sound and your approach. But I have to say that, you know, the greats as far as Charlie Parker, John Coltrane, Sonny Stitt, Cannonball Adderley, you know, these were the favorites that I continue to listen to and learn from. Because again, you know, we're standing on the shoulders that they've already provided for us. There's a lot of contemporary guys that I love to listen to because of their very unique sound. I think Gerald Albright is great, and I think Kirk Whalum plays very soulfully, and I can go on and on. But for me, I'm continuing to learn. We all are individuals, so I think there's something to learn from everyone.
And your favorite artist, Earth, Wind, and oh, I'm sorry.
I just love that's a great answer, Gail, because I was thinking to myself, sometimes people ask me, what's your favorite genre? Because my background is Cuban, as you guys know. Mm-hmm. I like all kinds of music. And I always say it's about the song, not the genre for me. If the song feels great, you know, so I love when you said that you make feel good music. Because it does, you know, hit our hearts.
And it should. I mean, music, you know, needs to make that connection. But, you know, I'm also one that I can get up, have a cup of coffee, listen to Beethoven's Fifth and listen to some Bach. I mean, I just love music, you know, and I think that gives me the opportunity for my musical vocabulary to kind of stretch, you know, a little longer.
But your favorite is Earth, Wind, and Fire, which
Without
I concur.
A doubt.
I concur.
Without a doubt.
Yes, I have had them on the show, and
wow.
I have to tell you, I was very blown away to have legendary performers in the presence. And I'm interested in what is it, I know what the magic was for me, but what was it for you when you listened to Earth, Wind, and Fire that inspired you?
So first of all, they're originally from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
But
wow, okay. I was trying to see a pattern here.
Yeah.
When I listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire, I mean, and it's just the, you know, when you want to paint the picture about a group and the elements, but what really kind of, you know, made me so excited and just kind of gravitated towards Earth, Wind, and Fire, the arrangements, the compositions, the songwriting, the emotional and spiritual connection that the music had. I mean, if it was Can't Hide Love to That's the Way of the World, there was always this message in their music that really hit home. And then the musicianship was always at a high level. And so, you know, when I first heard them, I was just kind of blown away. And I just kind of started studying them and listening to them. And they continue to be my all-time favorite group of all times, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Well, speaking of all of this inspiration, I mean, two of the people that I was reading about that you have worked with, I mean, please tell us about working with Miss Hathaway and Mr. Freddie Jackson. What was that like?
A learning experience for me that I kind of take all of these experiences in and try to make sure that I can have my music and my feeling come out of those experiences. Layla and I was at Berkeley at the same time. And so, you know, it was that learning aspect together, being on the College of Berkeley and learning together, and then going out and on her first project, having the opportunity to go out for a lot of us coming out of Berkeley was one of those somewhat first professional experiences. And so that was a learning curve right there. And then having the opportunity to go out with some other artists like Will Downing and Freddie Jackson was really a game changer for me. I spent a number of years with Freddie Jackson when he was really at the top as the #1 R&B artist. So we traveled a lot, but what was really instrumental was 4 of those years I was his musical director. And it was really a learning curve, leadership, but responsibility. And so some of those lessons I still take with me today.
Freddie Jackson was also on the show.
Yeah.
And he
knows everyone.
I'm telling you. Well, as I interviewed him, he blew my mind because he wanted me to introduce him when he came out to Boston on the stage. And I was like, what? So through double media exposure, I was just like talking to Angelo, and I was like, Angelo, I just want to talk to you about something, just a little something, because Freddie Jackson just like laid that on me. And I was like, I mean, what an honor, because he has gone through that voice, and he can bring out any song. You also take classics. Bryan Adams. I remember watching him in Maine, of all places, and the stage had all of his guitars and all the essence of the music. You choose to be daring. How do you pull that off?
Wow, Bryan Adams. Wow, you have done some homework there, huh? Wow, I have to
Indeed.
Absolutely A+. The first time I've been asked about that particular track, which was very, very early in my career, it was an honor to do that particular track. It was a little bit more on the pop edge, but we stood up for the challenge and just wanted to put an instrumental spin on it. You know, one of the challenges that I've always felt with remakes was, one, you know, be very, very careful with picking them, because, you know, there's some that you want to truly stay away from. But then there are ones that, you know, as a musician, and you want to have your voice, because again, everyone's voice is different. And with The Kiss of Life and Sade, that was everyone knows that particular song. It's very popular, very familiar. And, you know, you can't outdo it. And my job is that I just wanted to put my emotions and my voice on a track that was already a great composition. And so those are the challenges when doing remakes. The Stevie Wonder, you know, the emotions. It's a challenge, but, you know, it's also not trying to outdo the track, but just to kind of bring it home to a different voice.
Have they ever heard it, the artist that you?
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, and said, hey, I
that's a great,
heard my song.
That's a great question. As far as the particular tracks that we've redone on this particular project, we have not gotten any indication that the artists have heard it. Some of the songwriters may have, because, you know, you have to get permission to redo some of them, but no, that's a great question. I would like to know that as well.
Well, there's still time. It's brand new.
That's right.
I was watching here. I saw one of them was Fallen by Alicia Keys. I'm like, I'm down to hear that rendition.
Yes.
See what that sounds like. And it's funny because Gail was talking about connections and stuff like that. It's funny how these things work, because Gail, you had a guest, Michael Kurt Jackson, who works with the Jacksons. And I had met him separately apart from you one time, and he was telling me that his inspiration began also with Earth, Wind, and Fire. And he became, his mentor was is it Philip Bailey? Oh my goodness, my mind, you know. But I was like, man, they are iconic. I used to love Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Did you say used to? Did you say used to?
I know, I still do.
Block your ears, because he didn't mean to say used to. He said he does.
What happens is,
you're not dating yourself either, Ritchie. Come on.
You know what?
Put your hand there.
I'm so young. That's all you guys need to know. You know, but the funny thing is, sometimes you forget, you know, I have not listened to a song from these guys in a long time, you know. And there's this one song, oh my goodness, that they used to play. I used to play it over and over again to the point where it annoyed people. You know, I forget the name of the song right now, but I love that you have these inspirations. You've actually met them as well, I'm guessing.
I have not had the opportunity to meet them personally, but let me tell you, their music is embedded in me, so deeply rooted, because I have listened to them constantly, continuing to learn from it. I think as a musician, I don't know too many musicians. I don't know of any musicians that do not like Earth, Wind, and Fire. But they're just one of those groups that if you really want to have a history and an educational kind of class on, arranging, composing, emotional spirit connection, Earth, Wind, and Fire would be the group to listen to.
Okay, so I'm going to put this prediction out there for you. And this is what I see for you because I did listen to your music.
Thank you.
Dionne Warwick.
Mm-hmm.
Dionne Warwick. And I can see because her voice really brings in the essence of that music. And where you love to have the remakes, oh my goodness, Andre, you could put a hurting on everybody's soul with her.
Is there one in particular that you're thinking about?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I sense he might have a surprise up his sleeve.
Because I have not thought about Miss Warwick. I mean, she's has a great catalog, but
what the world needs now
is love, and that is so true.
That would be the one.
That is so true.
Yeah.
That is absolutely so true.
Yeah, which makes me think of now this benevolent side of you, because we were chatting a little bit about it, and I wanted to know about the Africa, Rising, and what that's all about.
And so, with creating Africa Rising, I really wanted, from a musical concept of, having some music that really can connect as we as Black and Brown people really rising up and working together to empower and support success. And what does that look like? And what's that vision? Mm-hmm. And when I connect that musically, we strategically looked at sequencing the tracks on Africa Rising because we wanted the listeners to go on that musical journey, to have that connection, and wanted the listeners to really feel the music and have that. And so, yes, it is really about rising and working together to empower and support Black and Brown excellence.
And of course, it is Black History Month, so it's fitting.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it's funny because we've got several people, Gail, that you keep connecting with that have a connection to Africa. There's something, I just hear the word and it inspires me, just to hear it. It's just amazing continent, but I believe with Christian Ray, when you interviewed him, he had a nonprofit in Mozambique, and they go back and forth a lot and stuff like that. And then you haven't gotten Mark Ottenlower yet, but I'm sure he's coming soon. But they gave the Nelson Mandela the Hope Prize, the Hope Award, and everything else. I just love it. I love that, I love when people do something and it's not just, the entertainment, only, but that there is something that they care about that's tied to it, whether it's the music or that project, or it's people, or they're helping, or they're doing something. There's something about that makes me kind of become more of a fan of that person or that brand.
I think it's important. I think it's really important, but I also think, music has a way of being that universal language where we can connect through music. At one time, the communication was done through drums, and this is the way that communication had to be during certain times. And so to really continue to use music as that vehicle, as that platform to move people, to communicate, to connect, I think it's important. And for me, I'm thankful and humble because I feel I'm sitting here having this conversation with this wonderful group of people because I had mentors and opportunities that was given to me. And I just feel that I have to give back. And it's a cycle of love. What the world needs now is love.
Yes, it does.
Amen.
We just want to know, where are we invited to the next, the next live event? That's what we want to
Yes.
go.
How are you promoting this new album? Like, where will you be playing all of your new songs? Sometime soon?
So yes, soon. Right now we are, as you are familiar with, we're doing what we're calling an awareness campaign. So we're going out, we're doing the interviews, reintroducing Andre Ward. I mean, since COVID, everything was kind of at a standstill. So just kind of getting back into the game that way. We are putting together a promotional tour that will be later this year. And so look forward to coming to a city near you, to everyone.
Boston.
And really looking forward
Atlanta.
The wish list is coming.
You all are where now? You're located in.
So I'm on the outskirts of Boston.
Okay.
I'm in Atlanta.
Okay.
I'm actually in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I go back and forth with Fort Lauderdale, South Florida.
Okay. All right.
And where I'm the host, you should come where the host is first. So,
Well, I was just at Sculler's New Year's Eve.
Oh, really?
I was just at Sculler's Jazz Club New Year's Eve, and I'm sure that I'll be back sometime during the year. But yes, I was just there. What, in the lovely venue? Always
Yes.
feels like home to me. And yes. So I
Oh.
will make sure that you're aware of that next time I'm.
Thank you, Mr. Andre, because I will be right there. Thank you. I'll be just moving everybody. Excuse me.
Make sure you pass on the information, Gail, because we'd like to go too.
Oh, yes, I will.
Yeah.
Yes, I almost forgot. Won't let me keep them to myself, will you?
Yeah, share that.
No, we have to share all this goodness.
All right, sharing is caring.
Yep, and I'm hoping to get to Atlanta and the Carolinas as well.
Very nice.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I know you probably won't get to the Carolinas first, but Atlanta, everybody goes to Atlanta. More direct flights than any other airport in the world, as far as I know. So Kristina's gonna get lucky with that.
Well, Atlanta's a hot ticket. It is.
Absolutely. So I'm curious what new things you might be up to that maybe you can tell us about, and the listeners and the viewers get a chance to sort of support you in that.
Well, first, I just want to thank all the listeners for the love and support. It's been really humbling and just the response has been really great and positive for the music. And, again, it's really uplifting for me because it's exactly what we want to do as far as connecting, but not just listen to the music, but feel the music. So I really want to kind of stay in contact with everyone. The Instagram is at Andre Ward Music. The Facebook is at Andre Ward Music. Tried to make it real simple.
Yeah.
And the website, which is being reconstructed, just remodeled, we like to say, is at andrewardmusic.com. And
your YouTube channel?
Well, personally, I don't have that, but Andre Ward, and there's about 6 or 7 of them.
That's how we were hearing. You have your music has some really good numbers. The people are listening, and your YouTube page has some really good followers. So it's busy over there.
And this is why I, said just thank you to everyone, because it's been the support and the love has been really great. And yes, those numbers has been really good when you look at them. And definitely with the new streaming platform, it's a learning curve for a lot of us that was strictly just BMI ASCAP. Now there's kind of a different tool that you have to use. So little learning curve, but it's been good.
Well, I think you need to clear your mantelpiece, Andre, and make room for some awards, because you've got some great music out there that touches the soul, and it is soothing and it is timely. And especially with COVID coming in and out, some people are just like, okay, I'm done with this COVID, but something will never be done with music. And we are so grateful for you having the heart and keeping all of the different renditions and original pieces coming out. And we are going to keep following you. And for those of you at home, again, Andre Ward, it is going to be amazing. Africa Rising. And you have to make sure that you join Andre on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. We're going to be posting him. And am I forgetting anything?
Well, we'll share those links for sure when this is produced and it goes out there. We'll make sure that we have Andre Ward Music. That's the ones you mentioned for Instagram and Facebook and any other links that people want to hear this. They need inspiration.
Yeah,
especially Sade's Kiss of Life.
Yes.
I am like in love. I almost didn't even come to this interview.
It was so good.
I'm an artist.
Oh no, that would not have been good.
I know. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm listening to your music. Oh, but you're here.
Yeah.
Now
I get a sense he's such a nice guy. Can't you just tell he's a nice guy?
Well, thank you very much.
You
You
know,
know,
so-
I would like to ask, do you have any favorite? Is Kiss of Life your favorite since you've had a snapshot, or is there a favorite that you
I
have
have
from the
been,
project?
you know something? I'm going to get back to you on that because you know something? I'm a replayer. So I like to take my time.
Mm-hmm.
I like to take my time. And if I blurt out one, then I'll be like, oh, I meant this one.
Right.
Because I also have been keeping a library. We have a library
Mm-hmm.
of artists like yourself. And
Mhm.
so I'd like to, do I get a special rendition from you? Mhm.
It's open invitation.
Yes.
If it's up to me, Earth, Wind, and Fire is fantasy. You can do that one.
Oh,
Well,
I
and
love
I
that
think
too.
if we have you on next time, we must see the saxophone and hear a few notes. I mean,
oh.
We can. So we're going to take if out and just say when.
okay, good.
I love
Okay,
that.
okay, Kristina, could you send that invite?
I'm on
now?
that. I'm gonna talk to your people.
Now?
We're gonna talk to your
Yeah.
people.
We're going to take the if
I feel like
out
a
and
Medea coming on. Like I'm like,
when.
We've been
Now?
talking about getting music on here, and how amazing would that be to
Oh my-
have you play something for us while we're sitting here listening, since we
Andre?
haven't come to one of your concerts yet.
if you
Well,
do that, you will never get me off this computer. I'm just telling you that right now.
It's, again, it is just an honor and a pleasure to be able to have the opportunity. And there's also, where artists, promoters, radio personalities, I mean, we all are in this cycle to where, we're supporting each other.
Yes.
Because, we as artists, we need promoters and venues and radio personalities to help us. And so I truly believe that, one hand just helps the other.
Absolutely. And your music just washes the soul. So see how that goes?
Yes.
Very true.
Andre Ward, courtesy of Double Exposure Media. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. And next time there will be a saxophone.
Yes.
And I'll never leave. I'll never leave.
I again want to just take the quick opportunity to say thank you very much for the very fun conversation. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes.
It
just means you have to come back and we are going to look forward to it.
I'm
Thank
looking
you
forward
so
to it as well.
An absolute honor. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And
Thank
good luck
you.
with the new album.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Entertainment now.